Welcome to the Planning and Development Advisory Committee meeting for December the 8th, 2020. We'll do a roll call. Just indicate your presence. Dennis O'Connor.
Present.
Deep Bassi.
Present.
Paul Sedra.
Present.
Dan Kennedy.
Present.
And I, John Sapoulos, am here as well. So we have two meetings tonight, one being the committee adjustment and the second being an advisory committee. On the committee of adjustment, we will have two minor variance applications for consideration of the committee of adjustment. And then in the advisory committee, there'll be one zoning bylaw amendment and three consents for the advisory committee to provide comments, which will be transmitted to the county, the consents rather. Okay, please note that the meeting is video and audio recorded, and all electronic meetings are uploaded to the municipality's YouTube page. By registering to participate in the meeting by electronic means, you're consenting to have your likeness and comments recorded and posted on YouTube. Next item we have is the disclosure of pecuniary interest. Lynn, did we receive any disclosure of pecuniary interest?
No, we did not.
Does anyone have any? If you do, just say yes and explain it. No? Okay, great. I'd like to move to the next item. It's approval of minutes of November the 10th, 2020. So do I have a move to approve the minutes of the Committee of Advisory Committee for November 10th, 2020?
I'll move that.
Move, second.
I'll second it.
Okay, second, Deep. All in favor? Dennis?
Yes.
Deep?
Yes.
Paul?
Yes.
Dan?
Yes.
And I approve as well. Thank you. Moving to the next item, applications for minor variance or permission under Section 45 of the Planning Act. I'll go through the wording associated with these hearings. The purpose of the hearing is to inform and provide the public with the opportunity to ask questions or express views with respect to a minor variance application before us today. The township requests that you please notify the secretary of the committee by email at lbanks@postlands.ca if you wish to be on record and would like to be notified of future hearings and decisions regarding an application. The format of the hearing is as follows. Staff will present the information report specifically outlining the purpose of the application, summarizing compliance with the township notification submission requirements, and outlining staff comments. The applicant or agent will present the purpose and details of the application and any further relevant information. Following this, the public can obtain clarification, ask questions, or express their views on the proposal. You will have a maximum of 10 minutes to speak. Following this, the members of the committee will likewise can obtain clarification, ask questions. Once that is done, the committee will deliberate the application and render the decision, and the decision will be subject to a 20-day appeal period. So we'll move to item 6A, the first minor variance application. Minor variance application D13-TRI, Dearden Kumar and Kertabin Tarvedi, 11 Fox Run Drive, Lot 52, Registered Plan 795, Township of Puslinch, requesting relief of new comprehensive zoning bylaw 23-2018 as amended to permit a maximum height of accessory structure to be 8.20 meters to the peak instead of 5 meters as required. So, Lynn, would you summarize the application, notification, submission requirements, outlining staff and recommendations?
Notice of the application was given in accordance with the provisions of the Planning Act. Notice requirements for the application have been met, and the following comment was received from the Township Building Department. They said that they have no objections. However, the Ontario Building Code will have restrictions on the right side elevation due to the small setback of 2 feet. No openings, including the garage man door, would be permitted on this building face. In addition, the wall, including attic gable, would need to provide a fire resistant rating of 45 minutes to protect the neighboring property. Those items will be addressed during the building permit approval process.
Okay, thank you. Okay, would the next time we'll ask the agent or the agent for the applicant to come forward, and would our deputy clerk, Courtney Hortfox, please have the owner or applicant join the panelists to present your application.
Hi, yeah, that's us.
Hello?
Yeah, did you want us to run through what the
Yeah,
project?
I'd like first of all to indicate who's going to speak and the name of the person who's going to speak and where you live.
Yeah, I am Dhiren Trivedi, and I would like to my son to talk to you. My son name is Manan Trivedi.
Okay, Lynn, do you have that?
His name is Manan Trivedi.
Okay,
Can you spell that for me, please?
It is Manan, and last name is Trivedi, Trivedi.
Great, thank you very much.
No problem. Thank you.
okay. Would you please present your application and run through what you're intending to do?
So what we wanted to do was build an extra building on our property because we have a lot of storage issues right now because we're a pretty big family. So the goal was to have this to put our cars in so that we can use our garage right now to have all our gardening equipment and our storage, all our excess storage in there.
Okay. Anything else you wish to say at this?
Also, I believe she said there was 2 feet from the fence for the neighbors. But in fact, we've changed that in the new drawing where it's 6 feet away from the fence so that it doesn't interfere. And also our neighbors have been okay with that. They said they've approved and they have no objections to it.
Okay.
We've already talked to them several times about it and we've showed them the diagram. And as long as they said that we have some trees on the side or something to just block a little bit of it off, it's fine with them.
Let's go to the public opportunity. Lynn, are there any registrants who requested to speak?
No, there are not.
Okay, and are there any written comments from the public that have been received?
No, I did not receive any.
Okay, and Courtney, I assume there's nobody else to speak?
We have 5 attendees right now, so I'll just ask if anyone has a question or comment, if they just can use the raise your hand feature. I don't see any hands being raised.
Okay, so let's turn it over to our committee members to ask questions of the applicant. Dennis?
Yeah, just the one, the height seems fairly high there. Have you looked at not being quite as high? Or do you need that for the storage inside, or what's the reasoning for that?
Yeah, so the last one there, we were thinking about maybe buying a boat, maybe a few years down the line, maybe 5 or 6 years down the line, if and when it's affordable. And so my dad he's like, if we're already building this unit, we wanted to have the space available to us in case we wanted to store that in there. Or an RV or something, just because me and my brother, we live here as well. And like, we're not gonna move out most likely because we're a joint family. So it was like to keep the option open for us to potentially have a larger vehicle at some point.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's all I have, John.
Deep?
Yes, hi, thank you. I wanted to find out if we have anything in writing from the neighbors supporting this this accessory building, and also that the drawings that we have, are they showing 6 feet away from the fence, or is it still 2 feet away?
What was the first question there? Sorry, I didn't quite hear that.
Do you have something in writing from the neighbors that they're okay with the size and the height of the accessory building?
No, we didn't ask, but we only talked to you.
Verbal consent. Okay. Okay. we are able to obtain a written consent. So far, we don't. We just have a verbal agreement with them where we just wanted to show them the diagram that we forwarded to you guys. And they said their only condition was that visually speaking, if there's some trees by their fence, that kind of blocks off the side of that building. They're okay with it. So that outside of that, they didn't really have a problem with the height. So, but if you'd like, we can definitely arrange to get some kind of written agreement from them. And and what was the second question? Sorry.
And you also mentioned that the new drawings have 6 feet from the fence line.
Yeah.
Are those have been submitted to the township as well?
Yeah, that has been submitted, yes.
Okay. I'm good, thank you.
Okay, Paul,
No, I'm okay. I don't have any questions.
Dan?
A couple questions on my side. Is it going to be 6 feet from the wall or from the overhang of the roof? Just
From
want to
the
clarify that.
fence, from our neighbor's fence.
Yeah, 6 feet to the wall of your new building
Oh, I see what you're saying.
or to the overhang of the roof?
To the wall.
To the wall, okay. And there's going to be no entrance or exit out of that wall?
No,
Okay.
just a couple of trees in between, or like not large trees, just small, like a bush or something, just to make it visually appealing to the stone.
And is it strictly storage? Like there's a second floor in there? Is there a
For the
second
cars,
floor?
storage for our 4 vehicles, pretty much, yeah.
Okay, so there's no second floor.
There's no what?
Is there a second floor?
No, there's no second floor, no.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
Okay, no problem.
Yeah, I have several questions. First of all, our zoning bylaw says 2 meters to any part of the garage. So you would have to have a clearance of 2 meters to the eave of the garage as opposed to the wall to conform with our zoning bylaw.
So what would be the eave of the garage?
Well, you have an overhang, like your roof comes down.
Right.
And there's a side. So
Yeah,
where the roof comes down, the most extreme part of the roof to the property line has to be 2 meters.
Okay, let me just explain that to my father really quickly.
I'm sorry?
I'm just gonna explain that to my father so
Sure,
that he
go ahead.
understands. जे roof में अगर जो overhang था ना, ABM का अगर जो कहता है steel को do Oh yeah. So like he said that the eave itself, he's like, we'll make that's what we're gonna be doing.
Okay. The answer to one of the other committee members, you indicated that there's no second floor storage, but there's a staircase going up to it. I don't understand the issue. If there's no storage, why can't you have the garage height the same as the height of the large door? Like your large door has a roof on top of it, and yet the remaining building to the east of it is higher than that. Why can't you make it the same height as the peak of the roof that's above the largest garage door?
They said they're gonna make it just partially that height, we're not planning on making a second. I don't know if there's stairs.
No, stairs is just like if they make like.
Oh, and if they wanted to make an attic or something, they wanted to have the options of like the potential of the stairs. But so far we don't plan on, like, initially that's not the plan at all. That would probably require further approval, I'm guessing, if we wanted to do that.
Okay, so you do not have a problem reducing the height of the roof? Courtney, could you please put up the sketch that shows the front elevation? No, keep going. Not that one. Keep going. Keep going down. That's the one, yes. If you can see the peaked roof on the right side, can you not reduce the height of that, of the remaining roof that's?
Yeah, so that right up there, pretty much from, I don't know if you can see oh no, we're not screen sharing. Yeah, so that right there, that's where they wanted to like build a potential partition and have like a storage area up there as well, above the cars kind of thing. They will get I will come in structure like that right there. AY is not flat.
So that is how we get the
Can you
height.
please point to the peak, the first peak on the left side? See that
Yeah.
first peak? Can you not make
So
that?
it is 5 feet only.
Can you
Yeah,
not
5 meters, 5
that
meters.
roof all the way across, that roof line all the way across? Reduce the height?
Oh, that, yeah. So that's just how the engineer drew it for us. I will reduce this
Yeah,
like
it is 9, okay, but 5 meters.
because then it becomes 5 meters, I believe, if we reduce that.
I don't think, I think it's still going to be excessive, but you see what we're trying to say?
Yeah. So you're saying right from the very rooftop there, just have a flat line going straight across.
Yes, is that a concern?
Let me just
This
discuss
is
that.
the building is.
Yeah, it's just because the designs have already been done, right? So to have to redo all that would take a long time.
Well,
But is that the law then? Is that a requirement, or is that just something?
you're asking for a variance on the height, and the height seems very excessive. It's 8 meters compared to 5 meters, and by moving it down to that height, you're going to make it a less of a massive structure.
Okay.
Yeah, I see. Yeah, it's just because the way our house is right now, it visually is more appealing to have it kind of the same height, if that makes sense.
Okay, members of the committee, do you have any questions of our planning department?
I have one question I didn't ask. Is there going to be plumbing out here?
No plumbing, no.
No plumbing, no washrooms.
No, none of that. It's just strictly for our cars, right? And then that's why I think that whole second staircase thing is because in case we need extra storage, we wanted to have maybe an upper thing, but it won't be like a usable floor. It'll just be like an attic, if anything.
Okay, anybody else have any questions of our planning people? No, okay, I have a question of Zachary Prince. Zachary?
Hi, yeah, I'm here.
Can you comment with respect to the report which deals with the massing issue?
Sure. So I think, and I'm speaking for Megan here, but we did speak about this ahead of time. So largely her concerns were around the side yard setback. So we're relieved to hear that they will go back to the 2 meter side yard setback. So that part is good. I think the massing that Megan is mentioning, I mean, it really is the size of the structure compared to the size of the house. So, I mean, whether it's a request for 8 meters or 7 meters, if that's the committee's wish to impose a lower restriction, I mean, that would certainly bring the height down. However, the building, the main building is quite tall, and there are some peaks on that main building as well too. So whether this looks out of character or not, I mean, it may look out of character, it may not. I mean, 1 meter of a difference may not make that big of a difference. So that's what I can comment on from a massing standpoint.
I just had a question to follow up on that. Zach, like with lot coverage, this we have a calculation. This complies with lot coverage though, right? Like there's no issue with that.
That's
yes,
right. Yeah.
Yes, it's a large building, but it complies as part of the, like there's the square footage when you do the calculation with the home and this building, it's within the bylaw.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. And just had one question. I'm not sure, maybe for the committee, just curious. we've had a few others with regards to RVs. Is 5 meters enough for an RV? Like how much height do you need for an RV?
I don't think that that's a fair question, because we're dealing with this application specifically, and he has provided the drawings what he wants to do. An RV, I don't know what the height of RV is. I assume the variant size, this applicant is considering a sailboat, and I don't know what the sailboat size is. It's basically the request before us is for a specific height, and I think we should just comment on the applicability of the height rather than try to understand what is going in or not going in.
Okay.
Okay. Before we vote on this, I'm going to suggest two conditions. One condition is that the proposed garage is set back 2 meters from the property line, that being a condition of the minor variance on the height. So I'd like to suggest if I can get somebody to move that and second that.
I'll move that.
Okay, Dennis moves it and Dennis seconds it. So we'll go around the table, make sure that's in. So Dennis?
Yes.
Okay, Deep?
Yes.
Paul?
Yes.
And Dan?
Yes, with,
Okay, and I'm fine with that as well. So that's number one. The second part is a little bit tricky, I guess, for us, whether or not we accept the height or not. It's a question of whether or not it complies with the area, the height of the building complies with the general appearance of the other buildings. So I'll leave it up to each one of you to decide whether or not the the variance is based on 4 conditions of the Planning Act, i.e. minor nature, desirable, be within the general intent of the proposed official plan or within the general and purpose of the zoning bylaw. So I'll read the decision document, and we'll go around and either you approve it, you oppose it. So in the matter of Section 45 of the Planning Act as amended, a new comprehensive zoning bylaw. Oh, before I go, the other thing I was going to suggest is a condition is that the applicant provides a letter from the neighbor that they're on side with this. Is that a fair condition to ask?
Yes.
yes,
Okay, so Dan, would you like to move that?
yes, I will.
Okay, second.
I'll second it.
Okay, Deep second. Okay, so we have those 2 conditions. Okay, so let's go through this document then. In the matter of Section 45 Planning Act as amended, a new comprehensive zoning bylaw 23-2018 is amended, and an application for minor variance requesting permission to permit a maximum height of accessory structure be 8.02 meters to the peak of the roof instead of 5 meters as required. And the first condition is that the garage is set back 2 meters from the property line. And a second condition is that the applicant receives a letter of support from his neighbor immediately to the west. So let's go around the table. Dennis, do you approve, oppose, or ask for deferment?
I approve.
Okay, Deep?
I approve as well.
Okay, Paul?
I approve.
Dan?
I approve.
I approve as well. So that's great. So a decision is subject to a 20-day appeal period, gentlemen, and you have 2 conditions that you're expected to meet as a condition of this approval.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you.
Take care. Okay, let's move on to the next one.
John, I think you're muted.
How much did you guys get?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Nothing, okay. So I'll do it again. Minor variance application D13 Ben, Howard Benyon and Maureen Anderson, 17 Trillium Beach Drive, Plan 61M-203, Lot 163, Township of Bushlands, requesting relief of new comprehensive zoning bylaw 23-2018 as amended to permit a minimum front yard setback of 1.96 meters instead of 3 meters as required. Okay, Lynn, would you please summarize the application, notification, submission requirements, outlining staff and recommendations?
Notice of the application was given in accordance with the provisions of the Planning Act. Notice requirements for the application have been met and no comments or objections were received.
Okay, thank you. Courtney, would you please have the owner applicant join the panel to present their application?
Hello.
Hello, could you please state your name and address for the record?
Yes, my name is Sean Swatsky. My office is 1486 Victoria Street North, Kitchener, Ontario.
Okay, would you please present your application?
Yes, of course. This is 17 Trillium Beach. As you can see from the angle that the house has been placed, we have that small issue there where we're going to need about a meter to have the sunroom. We've tried to put it on other areas of the house to avoid this. It's just that this area is exactly where they walk out from their kitchen. It's got the patio door right there. And to put it anywhere else, we'd have to like cut out windows, add, it's just a mess to put it anywhere else. So this is an ideal spot on the house for it. And as you can see, just it's because it's tilted there, we just need that meter. And we would be grateful if we could get that for these folks.
Okay. Okay, Lynn, are there any registrants requested to speak?
No, there are not.
Okay, Lynn, are there any written comments that have been received?
No, we have not received any comments.
Okay, Courtney, would you please advise whether there are any attendees watching the hearing would like to provide comments or ask questions regarding the application?
I'll just ask any attendees to raise your hand if you're looking to make any comments. I don't see any hands being raised.
Great, thank you. Okay, members of the committee, it's our turn to ask questions of the applicant or the county planner. So we'll go around the table. Dennis?
I'm okay with this.
Okay, Deep?
My question is regarding conservation or GRCA. Do we have an approval from them or do we need one for this addition?
That's a good question. Usually in the, staff would probably correct me if I'm wrong. I've applied for several in the Mini Lakes community. And as long as we're certain meters away from any water point, I haven't had them in the past, but I have done GRCAs in the past. So that's a good question. I have not actually looked into this one. So I have both done them in the past for this park and not had to do them for this park.
It's usually 30 meters buffer, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
Lynn, do you have any comments on this?
No, I didn't receive anything from the GRCA and they were circulated.
Okay. I guess, Deep, what we could do is put a condition in the minor variance to cover that off.
Sure.
Any other questions, Deep?
No, I'm good. Thank you.
Paul?
I'm good, thanks.
And Dan?
No, I'm fine with this.
Okay, so the condition we have in here would be that it's be subject to approval by the GRCA.
No problem.
So to have a mover for that?
Yeah.
Okay, Paul, second, Deep, all in favor, Dennis?
Favor.
Deep?
Favor.
Paul?
Favor.
Dan?
In favor.
And I'm in favor as well. Okay, so given that we have no other questions of the applicant or of staff, I'll go through the decision document. In the matter of section 45 of the Planning Act as amended and new comprehensive zoning bylaw 23-2018 as amended, an application for minor variance requesting permission to allow requesting provisions of comprehensive zoning bylaw 23-2018 as amended to permit a minimum front yard setback of 1.96 meters instead of 3 meters as required. And the condition is that it's subject to the approval of the Grand River Conservation Authority. So, so I'll ask you to either approve, oppose, or defer. Going around the table, Dennis?
Approved.
Okay, Deep?
Approved.
Paul?
Approved.
Dan?
Approved.
And I approve it as well. So that's it, Sean, and they'll be subject to a 20-day appeal period.
That's great. I just want to say this is very convenient, these Zoom meetings. So hope we keep it up in the future.
All right.
Thank you.
Sounds
Take
good.
care. Bye-bye.
Yeah, you too. Okay, so let's move on to other matters. There are none. And I need someone to move the adjournment of Committee of Adjustment at 7:31. So I have a mover for that. Dennis, second. Deep? All in favor? Dennis?
Favor.
Deep?
In favor.
Paul?
Favor.
Dan?
In favor.
Okay, thank you. So now we move into the Planning Development Advisory Committee. As I mentioned earlier, we have a zoning bylaw amendment, which we will provide comments, and we have 3 severance applications will be provide comments. So we'll go around the table again to do a roll call, make sure everybody's here. Dennis?
Here.
Deep?
Here.
Paul?
Here.
Dan?
Here.
And I'm here as well. So we'll go to the next item is disclosure of pecuniary interest. Lynn, do we have any?
No, we do not.
Okay, gentlemen, do you have any disclosure of pecuniary interest? None? Okay, thank you. So we move to item 3, approval of minutes of November the 10th, 2020. May I have a mover for that?
I can.
Dennis, sorry, Dan, second.
I'll second it.
Dennis, okay, go around the table. And Dennis?
Approve.
Deep?
Approved.
Paul?
Approved.
Dan?
Approved.
And I approve it as well. Next item is application site plan urban design review. There's none. Next item is number 5, zoning bylaw amendment, kennel bylaw. Zachary Prince County of Wellington Pound will provide an overview of the properties affected by proposed changes and the purpose and effect of the application to amend the Township of Puslan zoning bylaw 0-2318 to rezone the lands from agricultural to agricultural A site-specific zone to permit a dog kennel. These are township initiated housekeeping amendments that affect the following lines in Township of Puslan. 1, concession 11 part lot 32, RP 61, R1083 part 1, municipally known as 4194 Darkwood Road. 2, concession Gore part lot 24, RP 61, R11 650 part of part 1, and RP 61 R-20192 part 1, municipally known as 7111 concession 1. 3, concession 7, rear part lot 36, concession 8, rear part lot 36, part road allowance, municipally known as 4078 Highway 6. 4, concession 4, rear part lot RP 61R-9075, part 1, municipally known as 4712 Wellington Road 32. 5, concession 10, rear part lots 21 and 22, inclusive RP 61-1753, part 1, municipally known as 7813 Wellington Road 34. 6, concession 1, part lot 10, municipally known as 4284 Sidewalk 10S. And 7, concession 8, part lot 23, municipally known as 56 Gilmore Road. I hope I wasn't muted on that.
No.
Okay, over to you, Zachary.
Great, thanks. So through the chair, I'll just do a quick summary. I think that was a pretty good summary of it as well, too. So this is a township initiated zoning bylaw amendment. So a housekeeping amendment is what we usually call it. And what we're aiming to do is correct the zoning that's been on these 7 properties. So these 7 properties that Mr. Spoulos just listed are all licensed as kennels in the township. Unfortunately, when the new bylaw was put in place, they were not recognized in the zoning bylaw as being such. So the purpose of this amendment is to recognize these existing licensed kennels that have already been operating in the township, some of them for quite a long time. And the issue is that when you're applying for a kennel license, one of the checks is to confirm that zoning is achieved. So we are trying to get this in place so that these people can continue to operate their kennels in the future as well too. There was a public information, or not a public information session, but it was an information session for the property owners that are affected by this change. So it was a question and answer period for the landowners and for staff as well too. That was held on November 12th. 6 out of the 7 landowners attended and opted in to the proposed changes. The 7th one, unfortunately, we haven't heard from at this time, but we're still proceeding with the change on their property for right now. So PDAC is kind of the first step for this change. The next step will be attending a public meeting at council on December 16th. Following that public meeting, we'll prepare a final report and final approval for council. So I'm happy to answer any questions that the committee members may have on this proposed change.
Okay, Dennis.
I'm good.
Deep.
I'm good.
Paul.
I'm good.
And Dan.
I was just wondering, Zachary, when you said they've been operating like this for a long time, what is that length of time?
Some of them have been up to 30 years in the township, and licensed legally as well too, like with an operating license. I'm not sure the shortest amount of time. I'm pretty sure that's the longest, but I don't think there's anything that's less than 10 years.
Okay. And is there any outstanding complaints or anything from neighbors or?
Not that we know of on these ones. There are some that are licensed that we've had issues with, but on these ones where they already have the licenses, we haven't heard from any of the neighbors through this process. Now, Lynn and Courtney may be more familiar with some of them as well too, but there are a number of kennels in Puslinch. Some of them are licensed and zoned. Some of them are zoned, but they aren't necessarily licensed, and they continue to operate. And we've been having some issues with those for sure. But anyways, the purpose of this amendment is just to recognize the ones that have licenses but are not zoned.
Okay, understood. Thank you.
Okay, Courtney, do you have anything else to add?
I thought Zach did a really great job of covering all of the main points. And again, these kennel operators are in good standing with the township. They all have licenses in place, and we're just looking to make this correction to the zoning for this this group of folks here.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to suggest that the committee move a motion to support the initiative. So I was wondering if somebody can move that.
I'll move it.
Deep, second, Dennis. So we'll go around the table. Dennis.
Approve.
Deep.
Approve.
Paul.
Approve.
Dan.
Approve.
I approve as well. Thank you, Zachary.
Great, thanks.
Okay, now let's move into the land division, severance applications. We'll start with the first one, 6A severance application B9220. Also known as D10/CON, Kelly Contini, Part Lot 13, Concession 11, municipally known as 4660 Nasagaweya, Puslinch Town Line Road, Puslinch. Proposed severance is 55 meters frontage by 73 meters or 0.4 hectares, vacant land for proposed rural residential use. Retained parcel is 4.4 hectares with 120 meters frontage, existing proposed rural residential use with existing dwelling, barn, and shed. And I was wondering if Courtney, you can put the sketch on the screen. Okay, and just noting that the committee's mandate is only to provide comments to the County Land Division Committee who considers the application. So Courtney, would you please have the agent or applicant join the panelists?
Jeff Buseman here at Van Harten Surveying.
Great, thank you, Jeff. Would you please present the application?
Thank you, Mr. Chair and committee members. This application is on the Nescoya-Pusinj Town line. It's unique in that it's a through lot and that we got concession road 11 on the bottom of the sketch that you can see there. Nescoya-Pusinj Town line at the top of the sketch. The proposal to have the severance in the top right-hand corner as you view it from the sketch for an area of 0.4 of a hectare, which is an acre. You can see that we've set the frontage to be 120 meters. That was intentional of the retained, that is 120 meters of the retained parcel. We did that so that it could meet the zoning requirement of 120 meters for a parcel that's greater than 4 hectares. The property has an old barn on the property. And I heard there was some interest in knowing more about that barn. So some pictures have been sent regarding that barn. That barn is your traditional old barn. The upper floor has got storage for Hillside Festival stuff actually. And it has a kind of cool skateboard ramp inside there. On the ground floor, there's a shop and storage area. And then about a half of it is set up for remnants of maybe what was a goat operation, I'm going to say decades ago. So we've reviewed Mds calculations and we have come up with a Mds requirement of 93 meters, which is the distance that we're showing from the back corner of the severance to the barn. This is a great severance in terms of a corner of usage of land. I know there's trees there, but it's really reforested trees that are in that area. And there's no problems with severances in this environment. It also meets the secondary ag policies and the other policies related to a severance. So if there's any questions or comments, I'd be glad to answer them.
Okay, before we get to that, Lynn, were there any agency comments received? Yes, could you please read them?
No, we did not receive any comments.
Okay, and no comments from the public either, Lynn?
That's correct, no comments.
Okay, so I'd just like to indicate that if there's any attendees watching this hearing would like to give comments or questions, I advise that their comments can be heard at the Land Division Committee. So let's go around the table and ask the committee members if they have any questions of the applicant or so. Dennis?
Yeah, just one. You had mentioned maybe changing 2 horses there in this barn.
Well, the only thought was in terms of a reasonable and fair thought about MDS impact is to say, if this was ever to be used, this barn was to be used for animals, probably the most likely use would be a few horses in there. That's all.
Okay. And so you use 12, so that's lots for
that's lots. I don't expect more than 4 horses to be used in there, but
yeah. Okay, I'm good with it. Thanks.
Okay, Deep.
No, I'm good. I just, I guess a safe entrance is possible, Jeff.
Yes, I did evaluate that and a safe entrance is possible. Thanks.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, Paul?
I'm good. Thanks.
Okay, Dan?
No, the safe access has been addressed. Thanks.
Okay, and I don't have any comments, so I'm going to suggest that we move that our comment to the Land Division Committees that we support the application. So if I can get a mover for this and a seconder.
I'll move it.
Okay, Dan, second. Dennis, okay, so let's go around the table. Dennis?
Approved.
Deep?
Approved.
Paul?
Approved.
Dan?
Approved.
And I approve the comment as well. So let's
John,
move.
sorry to interrupt. Do you want the standard township conditions?
Yes.
On that?
Yes, we can. Yes.
Okay.
I assume we're good on that, gentlemen?
Yes.
Okay, let's go on to the next one. Severance application B9320, also known as D10 MCK, James and Sherry McKenzie, Part Lot 4, Concession 3, known municipally as 6574 Ramclin Road 34, Puslinch. Proposed severance is 54 meters frontage by 268 meters or 1.5 hectares. Existing proposed rural residential use with existing dwelling, garage, and shed. Retained parcel is 2.9 hectares with 18.5 meters frontage. Proposed rural residential use. So, Courtney, would you please show the appropriate drawing and ask the agent or the applicant to come forward?
Thank you again, committee members. Again, Jeff Buseman representing the applicant. This property is on Wellington Road 34. It's a kind of an odd shape, a little bit of an odd shaped parcel in that there's I'm going to say a slightly narrower section on the right and then a big chunk of land behind 3 other parcels. The proposal is to sever it so that there is a piece that's 55 meters wide, and then it goes for 265, or actually about 300 meters deep, or 270 meters deep, I apologize, 270 meters deep for an area of 1.5 hectares. We looked at some varieties of configurations, and we felt that this was a good configuration. The retained parcel will be 18 meters wide and it'd be set up for a driveway, for some type of building or whatever it would be in the back. We've intentionally had a decent amount of separation from that garage that's there already. There's a nice garage in the front, and there's about a 6 meter separation from the property line to that garage. Again, this parcel meets all the criteria for a severance in terms of being secondary ag, safe entrances, meeting MDS, appropriate ownership, that kind of stuff, kind of thing. So I'd be happy to answer any questions or have any comments about this application. Thanks.
Lynn, were there any agency comments or comments from the public?
We did have one comment from our Township Fire Department. They said that they have no concerns regarding the proposed severance at 6574 Wellington Road 34, other than providing adequate access to the future structure for emergency service response.
Okay, thank you. Okay, again, I'll reiterate that if there's any attendees watching who would like to give comments, advise that their comments can be heard at the Land Division Committee where this decision regarding the application will be made. So let's go around the table and have our members ask questions of the applicant. Dennis?
No, I'm good. We don't necessarily like the flag lots, but to make something out of this, you don't have a lot of choice, so I'm okay.
Deep?
I'm okay on this one.
Paul?
I'm okay as well.
Ben?
I'm the same as Dennis, but I'm okay with it.
I'm fine as well. So again, I'm going to suggest that we send a comment that we support this severance to the county. So let's suggest I can get a mover to for that. But before I do that, Lynn, do you have anything that we should be adding in as well? Lynn? Lynn?
Sorry about that. I thought I had unmuted. No, do you just want our standard 2 comments?
That's fine. So I'll ask the for a mover on that the committee endorses the application, and secondly, that the 2 standard comments be included as our comments to the county. So may I have a mover? Paul, second. Dennis, going around the table. Dennis?
Approve.
Deep?
Approved.
Paul?
Approve.
Dan?
Approve.
I approve as well. Okay, so next one, 6C, severance application B8820, also known as D10/ONT 207-9597 Ontario Inc., care of Glenn Morgan, part lots 36 and 37, concession Gore, and part lot 38, concession 8, known municipally as 4063 Highway 6 Puslinch. Proposed lot line adjustment is 303 square meters with no frontage. Part 2 on sketch to add existing septic bed to abutting residential parcel, Mohammed Ibrahim and Karim Mariamam. Part 3 on sketch, retained parcels 5.8063 hectares with 182.12 meters frontage. Part 1 on sketch, existing and proposed agriculture use with existing dwelling and sheds. So Courtney, would you please show the drawing and have the proponent or applicant come forward and present the application? Courtney, do we have the applicant here?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, and who am I speaking to?
My name is Robert McConnell. I'm with Cunningham McConnell Surveyors, and I'm the agent acting on behalf of the applicant.
Okay, thank you. Could you please just summarize the application?
The application is a relatively straightforward situation. Part 3 on our sketch was subject of a previous severance, which created a separate residential lot, and then the applicant built a new separate dwelling on the balance of the property. It was determined that after the severance was completed, that the septic leaching bed was crossing the limit, and that's the area contained in the part 2 as shown on our sketch. So we're merely trying to adjust the lot line to circumvent the perimeter of the leaching bed that's part of the residence on the part 3 on our sketch.
Okay, thank you. Lynn, were there any agency comments received or any comments from the public?
No, we did not receive any comments from agencies or the public.
Okay, and again, if there are any attendees watching the hearing who would like to provide comments or ask questions, advise that their comments and questions can be heard at the Land Division Committee when this is brought up. So let's go around the table and see if any of the members have questions or comments. Dennis?
No, I'm good.
Deep?
I'm good as well.
Paul?
I'm good.
Dan?
I'm good with it.
Okay. Then do we have the standard comments for this application, or is it not applicable?
It will only be the clearance of the township's fees and that the taxes are paid to date. We won't require an entrance permit since it's a lot line adjustment.
Sorry, you're saying you require an entrance permit?
No, we will not require an entrance permit. Our only comment would be that the taxes are paid to date and that the township's clearance fee is paid.
Okay, fair enough. Thank you.
You're
Okay, so with that comment to be added and then the comment for our committee support, can I get a mover to for those 2 comments to be forwarded to the Land Division Committee?
I'll move it.
Deep, okay. Dennis, second. Let's go around the table. Dennis?
Approve.
Deep?
Approve.
Paul?
Approve.
Dan?
Approve.
And I approve it as well. Okay, move on to number 7, other matters, none. Number 8, closed meeting, none. Our next meeting is Tuesday, January the 20th, 2021 at 7 p.m. And before we adjourn the meeting, wish everybody all the best. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. And have a mover to adjourn the meeting at 7:55 p.m. Mover?
Yep.
Dennis, second. Dan? Go around the table. Dennis?
Approve.
Deep?
Approved.
Paul?
Approved.
Dan?
Approved.
I approve it as well. Thank you very much, everyone, and have a good holiday.
Thank you, guys. Merry Christmas.
Merry
Merry
Christmas.
Christmas,
Thank you
everybody.
very much.
Happy holidays.
Thank you also.
Take care.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Take care. Bye.